But right now, what I'd like to do is just give you sort of a report about relevant ministry. And I want to begin by saying thank you, Gulf Coast Church, for being one of our partners and one of our sponsors. We are just grateful for the investment that you have made into relevant ministry. You know that in December, we'll be coming up on 10 years. It was in December of 2008 that Relevant Ministry started. I was pastoring here on the coast. My wife and I came here in 2004. Shortly after that, all of you know that it was a Katrina event. And we experienced that like many of you did. And we continued on, rolled up our sleeves, got involved in rebuilding like so many others did. And around 2008, not only was our church, but other churches were just really struggling. And there was a need for pastors and churches to be encouraged. And so long story short, that's where relevant ministry came about. That was the catalyst. That was the birth in 2008. All around revitalization of churches. In 2009, Jeff Hegstrom and his family moved to the coast, became a part of relevant ministry. In 2011, some of you know Brad and Teresa Houchin. They came to the coast. They were part of relevant ministry. There were things like that were engines that drove that vision of interns and leadership training, and then also the hosting of mission trips down at the RM Center in Pass Christian. Last year, Adam Strentz came to join us in that. And so, so many incredible things have happened over the last 10 years. I was doing some connection with a consultant and a coach. It was a missional guy who is well respected. If I told you his name, you would know who he is. And I spent a year of connecting with him. And it was back even 2 years ago that all of us on the RM team began to recognize that there were some shifts that were beginning to happen. And discipleship at that time began to really rise up and was taking place. And one thing that this coach and consultant said back a couple of years ago, he was aware of what was happening, and so was the team, and it was almost prophetically that he said, Nelson, the things that have brought you to where you are as a ministry will probably not be the things that are going to take you to where you're going to go. And so it's amazing how that's happening. Jesse joined the team in 2014, and then when he and Kayla married, she became a part of the team. And so we're at a place now that the Houchins have gone back to Illinois, and so has Adam Strentz. Jeff and Angie are praying about what's next for them in their lives and ministry for the Lord. And moving forward, it's sort of like a bittersweet kind of a thing. Pray for RM as we continue to move forward, because there are exciting things happening, and really the best is yet to come. Jesse and Kayla and Pam and I are in a huge way involved in working with leaders, not only here in the coast. What's been developed around a discipleship pathway and a coach approach to that in the last 3 or 4 years is something that has gone out from here. It's almost like out of the ashes of what took place here on the coast, out of the need that pastors had for encouragement and revitalization of churches. There's a desire for what's happening in other places, to where right now we are involved in working with leaders in churches in over half of the 50 states in the U.S., and also in 5 foreign countries. It's just amazing what God has been doing. Particularly, I want to share with you about Belize. Jesse has had an incredible connection with Pastor Ramon. You as a church have gone there on mission trips over the last several years. And we have the opportunity in January to go and do a training to 20 pastors. Jesse's been working with Pastor Ramon, calling and Skyping every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks, and it has just changed his ministry there. To the point that there have been 3 churches started out of his church. And today, those 4 churches are having a combined service this very day And they were started with the relevant discipleship pathway and the coach approach. So they're training their people to do discipleship that multiplies from one generation to the next to the next. So here's what's happening in Belize. After you all take a trip, Jesse and Kayla are going to stay. Pam and I are going to fly over there. And the four of us are going to train pastors. And Thirst Mission says we can get 20 pastors there from 20 churches for this, for this training. We're excited about that. These are bivocational pastors. These are pastors that are going to be taking off work. And here's the prayer request. In order to do that, it's going to be about $400 for each one of those pastors just to be able to make that happen. So Relevant Ministry is going to be raising the funds to be able to do that. Kayla and Jesse, I haven't told you this yet, but we sent out letters earlier this week. We came home from the training that we did yesterday. We did coach training with the church here on the coast yesterday. We went home and got our mail, and our first $400 came in. It was from a widow lady who supports Relevant Ministry as she can, and she wrote a check saying, I want to sponsor one of those Belize pastors. I want to help to make this happen. So we just need 19 more. So we pray, and God is at work, and we are excited. I wanted to start today with that just sort of as a mission report to you. We feel accountable as a ministry. You all support us. You all invest in us in a huge way. You've done that over the past. We're excited not only what God has done over the last 10 years, and the Hegstroms and the Houchins and the Strenches and the McBrides and us have our fingerprints just all over those last 10 years. And there have literally been thousands of lives that have been impacted. As we move forward into the next 10 years, I believe with all my heart that the best is yet to come. And we're excited about what God has before us.